Hey guys, it's Jan, Not a Real Farm. It's Full Tour Friday. Here we are. Take a look at the greenhouse. Full of fruits and vegetables. It's wonderful in here right now. Take a look at everything. So we've got our Mexican mint. You can see the orange flowers have taken off. We've got our chamomile, which we can cut the flowers off right now and we could use that for tea, or we can leave it and let it go to seed. We've got our spicy pepper grass, which is awesome. It's about to turn to seed, so any of you that are interested in growing pepper grass, let me know. It's great in a salad. We've got our sunflowers. They're reaching up really high. Our corn has decided to tassel. So here we are with the corn. Now, it's not ready yet. It's not at that pollen stage. Oh, there is a little pollen. Check it out. So here's something that's new if you haven't had the opportunity to do this. So you see the pollen is actually on my hand. If you're looking at pollinating your corn, and that does happen quite often if you're in a greenhouse, what you need to do, because we don't necessarily have that airflow within the greenhouse, is all you have to do is tap it. And when that pollen falls down on some of the leaves below, it's considered hand pollinated. Let's take a look at the other one here. Yeah, okay, here we go. So let's take a look down at some of the leaves. You can see here, the yellow pollen is way in the bottom there. So this is going to be considered hand pollinated. Let's take a look at the top. Got a really tall guy here. Hopefully I can get close enough so you can see. See all that pollen falling? Maybe not. But the pollen has to actually fall down on the other leaves in order to be considered pollinated. And so it has done that. And so now we have corn that's pollinated. All done. And so now what we'll do is we'll watch for the ears of corn growing. Here's some of my herbs. So the radishes have all gone to, they've actually not even given me a bulb. Let's pull this guy out and see what he looks like. So I got a little tiny bulb. He didn't turn red. But take a look at the leaves I can use. And even though he didn't turn red, I can still use this because it is considered a bitter. And it'll be spicy. So we'll be able to use this, if I like, in some of our stir fries or just sauteing it down. We'll put them down for now and we'll use them after. All right. I've got thunder boomers moving in, so we're going to make this real quick today. So our blackberry bed is over here, but the berries are on the other side, so I'll show you that. Our roses are done for right now, but they will get a secondary bloom towards Thanksgiving, which is normally really, really beautiful. Take a look at the veg, just on the outside of the greenhouse here. So I have one bed that covers the entire circumference of the greenhouse. And if I turn around here, you can see pretty much over half of it goes all the way around, and we're going to take a tour of that. But if I turn around behind me, take a look at our blackberries. Now, I normally like to eat blackberries on their own, but this year my goal is to have blackberry jam. So we're still in that shiny stage. You can see how shiny those blackberries are. They're not quite ready to pick. And of course, the red ones are going to be sour. So we're going to leave them on the plant and let them be pretty much until they're ready to fall off. And then we will harvest them. So we have tomatoes. Check out our peppers, guys. There's so many peppers this year. I can't even keep up. Take a look at this guy. I just finished watering for the night, trying to get in the watering before the thunder comes along with the rain. I've been fighting, and so have the pollinators, trying to make sure that we get this garden done this year. Look at all these peppers. With all the rain that's happening, it's been an extremely challenging year. I'm noticing that things just aren't necessarily growing the way that they normally do, and the temperatures are not as hot as what they were last summer. This is a fish pepper. I don't know if any of you have had the opportunity to grow this, but this is a hot pepper. And when you initially look at the leaves, you think, oh, geez, you know what? These leaves are damaged because we, give it some food, we give it some nitrogen, things like that. But it's not damaged. These leaves actually turn like this the older that the leaves are. So each one of them begin to turn these sort of cool, striped, variegated white, which is really neat. We've got our Smoky Saskatoons, which are still happy in their planter. We've got our kale. We've got our Marconis that are doing really good. And we've got a lot of zucchini coming up. So the flowers are just starting to really put on here. But you can see here where the zucchini is happening. If we don't get enough pollinators, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take whatever flower comes up here and we're going to hand pollinate the zucchini. Take a look at this. These are sunflowers. They haven't put on anything yet in terms of a flower head, so we'll be getting there shortly. Kidney beans, mini tomatoes, cucumbers. I haven't looked at these yet. Let's see what these have. So not quite there yet in terms of putting on flowers, but that's okay. It just means that we'll have succession cucumbers, so that's great for pickling. More cucumbers, lots of mosquitoes. Guys, the mosquitoes are horrible this year. This is another yellow zucchini that I've grown, so sort of the same thing. We've got all kinds of fruit, minus the weeds coming up. We've got more peppers. We've got lychees in the back. So the lychees, remember what I said, the lychees have thorns. And the bigger the lychees get, the lychee tomatoes, the bigger the thorns. So you almost have to harvest these with a glove. But you can see here they're already putting on their flowers. So we'll have lychee tomatoes to show you what they look like this year. And down below the zucchini, if I can move this out of the way, we have our peanuts. And if you take a look here, so these cucumbers were planted beforehand, so they're a little bit further along. You can see that they've got the flowers all hanging out, waiting for the pollinators to come on by. So we are in cucumber season. It is going to be something else. Here is our miniature little peeps for tomatoes. So what I've done with these tomatoes is they've actually taken really good to the greenhouse this year. And I've single stemmed them. Now we will miss a few leaves here and there. You can see that I've missed a couple, but we single stem them all the way up. So we give the opportunity for the fruit to be bigger and we create sort of an air gap so that there's not any diseases. Here we have our healthy peppers. Ooh, check out these cucumbers, guys. And then we've got another set of mini tomatoes. So these are called a pygmy tomato. So these are even smaller. So the reason why I'm growing micro tomatoes this year is to be able to offer different types of choices. If you don't have that space that normally you'd need for a bigger tomato, then what we're offering is something smaller. So you still have that sort of cherry tomato type flavor, but not necessarily taking up the space. So here is a yellow dragon tomato. I'm really anxious to see what that's going to be like. All the way up here, we've got more blackberries. We've got more miniature tomatoes. So these ones here are called a Birdie Rouge. So they don't really get any taller than this. They're very tiny. They're really great for a deck. We've got more tomatoes here. And then we threw in some yellow beans just for fun to see if they'd actually take in the greenhouse, which they did. We've got multicolored peppers here. So these are going to be a hot, spicy, almost like a 5-spice pepper. We've got a Livingston's tomato. And then over here, we sort of stuck in our delicious tomato. Now let's turn around and see what's in the other boxes. So behind me, we have a 4-foot licorice mint. Maybe even 4.5 feet. So you can see here, it's already started to put on the flowers. So this, we're going to save the seeds from this year. This is what smells like and tastes like black licorice for those of you that like that in your tea. I even like it in my salad. So once again, it's a licorice mint. And then we have our plum tree, which maybe a few weeks ago I had maybe 3 branches. You can see how many branches I have now. And then we threw in some sweet potatoes in the bottom of the bed. So we'll see how we do with that. And then here we have a rattlesnake watermelon. Now, I noticed when I came beside here today, it's got a flower. And if you've ever stopped to smell a watermelon flower, you're going to understand that it smells really awesome and really sweet. So I planted 6 of these vines in here, and these watermelons get to be about 15 to 20 pounds. So I'm going to allow them to sort of spread out onto the floor and do their thing, and we'll see how it goes. Here it is, guys. Here is the horseradish. So I have been on this, keeping the leaves in check with the white flies and with the soft flies. If you can see, we look really close. You can see that I still got soft flies in here, so we're going to have to cut more leaves before these come out. I mean, the horseradish patch is amazing. Even if I cut off all these leaves, the horseradish would still survive. So here we are with the grapes. I'll cut back a lot of these leaves so you guys are able to see how many grapes that we have available in here, which is great. We know where our grapes are coming from because grapes are on that, I think it's Dirty 30 list, where they name all the vegetables that are sprayed or fruits that are sprayed the most. And so we enjoy grapes here, so we will be growing these organically from here on in. Okay, guys, here we are at one of the outside gardens. I'm going to regret this because I'm in flip-flops and it's mosquito heaven after the rain. Check out the potato bed. Now, these are flowering. If you take a look at that, we have flowers on the potatoes. That's awesome. It means probably by, let's say, in the next 2 weeks, we will be able to harvest baby potatoes, which is awesome. But beautiful foliage, no diseases detected. I'm really happy with how these turned out. Our asparagus bed, you can see here that we've got our pollinators at work, doing what they got to do. Smoky Saskatoons in the baskets. And then we have a bed full of corn, beans, which are doing amazingly well, but no beans yet. We have peas. Look at all those peas, the flowers. We are going to have a lot of peas. And of course we have garlic. And we have our beautiful, I'm so proud of this romaine, red romaine that we regrew this year, and it is amazing. Check that out. Can't wait to actually save the seed from that. Coming up real quick, we've got our oats. Check it out. The oats are super happy this year. It's got to be all the rain and the weather for sure. I've got my double red corn. Healthy, beautiful corn stalks. Not even a bite in them from the bugs. I haven't sprayed. I haven't used any herbicide. Nothing on these. It's amazing. And then we've got a lot of roses actually planted outside the greenhouse. But today, we were blessed with a yellow rose. Isn't that beautiful? And everything for the red Egyptian walking onions is going amazing. They're starting to dry out. They are up on the store now if anybody wants to grab some seed while we have some available. Here's our wasabi. And then back here, what we've decided to do is plant extra beans, strawberries, a little bit of miniature corn, and some safflower. That's it for me today, guys. If you have any questions, please pop them below. Check out our Etsy store. Have an awesome Friday, and see you soon.